Fast forward, any come out our channel, so how see a GH Politics Avenue. Podcast or training because big headlines and a jembre na ADB exomo ewaha. Need him young black simus and AD Kanya. Mr. Sobetima subscribe to the channel. Hit notification bell so mama share na fafu from so answer into me. Kabe need him young black simu young queen simu. Ye queen simu ame Suale. Ye na alleged killer. Ameno kase court etimi ejano no. Ye yan kasa ye lawyer, legal practitioner, lawyer Martin Kpebu Atraxi, meno like I say, will put in Chirimu the back and forth of the entire issue, any legal implications are a whom be here say menu mino, you won't ye call any deaba. Best say ye more in real lawyer say a brawajemre na what legal matters at home, what you can abasa any say. AGH Politics Avenue, but that's so wajemre.
Discharge is not acquittal. So it means that the AG can reopen this case anytime, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, under our law, that is it. If a person is discharged simpliciter, then it means that the case has not been dealt with on its merits. That is simply put, the court go into the case proper. The court didn't investigate the case, right? Sometimes, yes, the investigations can begin, but it doesn't get to the point where I call it point of no return. If it doesn't get to that point, maybe you can even call 5, 7 witnesses. But if the prosecution has not closed this case and the case has to come to an end, they will still say discharge, meaning that the court hasn't gotten to that threshold. But if, let's say, the prosecution closes case, that one, they cannot say discharge. Of course, there's always a right to enter Nolle Prosequi before the judge rules. But that's not what we are dealing with here. Just to keep it simple here, the court has not gone into the merits of the case. The court has not listened to the witnesses. There are people who said it is Mr. Akroma who was behind it. The court has not heard them. So once the court has not heard them and has to cancel the case, the AG said that they will cancel the case because of the insufficient evidence. Then that's it. Anytime they find the right evidence, they can return, and then the case will be heard.
All right. Now, subsequently, there's been a big debate on the platform, right here, I mean, whether it's from Jabunti Zato, PhD, to Beatrice, to Solomon, a pointed debate about whether there was a culture of strangulation in relation to how to air your own opinion in the environment which was governed by the MPP in the last administration. What's your own take on that before I let you go?
Oh, that one, let me use this legal term, but we like using it colloquially. We say res ipsa. Res ipsa, meaning the matter speaks for itself. It's the MPP that have to come and explain. No, it was so rampant. It was obvious that we're living under a culture of silence. And remember, even Sam Jonah had to come in. You know, when the culture of silence was getting to its peak, Sam Jonah had to come in. And then, you know, it erupted another round of discussions and debates here and there. Sam Jonah, yes, he came in and delivered a speech and said, look, he sees the return of the culture of silence, okay? And generally, a lot of people spoke up. You remember, so me, today, as I said, you know, every Saturday when I appear on the key points, Saturday morning on TV3, I single out a few people and then allow them for speaking out when we had a culture of silence. I usually mention Sophie Akuffo, the former Chief Justice, whom I have nicknamed the Asantua. Then we named Dom Ahini. He used to also speak, notwithstanding that he's a chief, he used to speak against the ills in the Akuffo government. Then we mentioned Tobe Afede, the chief Awumefia of Asogli State, Agbogbo of Asogli State, etc. You say, and then Kentucky Tekuchu II, also asking for justice in the Sicily Adapa matter. Cecilia Dapa, who had millions of dollars and Ghana cedis in her home, that she cannot explain how she got that money, right? So there was a culture of silence. And if we want to be scientific, earlier on you referred to the Press Freedom Index. As far as I can remember, for the 8 years that Akuffo was in government, it's only 2 years that he did well compared to the previous JEA Mills and John Mahama administration. Yes, you can check the record. For the 8 years, what his best year was 2018. That was when we even celebrated the World Press Freedom Day in Ghana. We were #1 in Africa, I think, for that year, 2018. And that was it. After that, you know, Suale died in 2019. And then we went down,
But Mr. Kpebu, within the MPP period, you were talking left, right, center. Nobody stopped you.
Yes, I'm coming to that. But you know, my name is Kpebu. You don't understand what Kpebu means. The spirits are different. The spirits are different, you know. So when you have a few people, so you see, the spirits. When I say the spirits are different, so I'm a man of courage, extra courage. But the average man didn't find that space. It had to take people of extraordinary courage.
Okay.
So that's not freedom of speech. There's a culture of silence.
All right, thank you.
It's when the average man can speak, then you say, yes, there's freedom of speech.
Thank you. Mr. Kpebu, I wish you all the best for the day.
You're welcome.
Fantastic man so far. And Beatrice, the Trade Union Congress, they're on
Yes,
government's
but
case.
I think you should oblige me some.
Yes,
one
but I
minute.
asked the question.
Will you apply all of that?
The Trade Union Congress
Okay.
is on the case of government. They say just like they did for MPP, they're also going to perhaps protest in so many ways, the way they do it, over the subject matter of galamsey and how it's been dealt with by government.
Okay,
So I'll oblige you maybe some 2 minutes. I know you take 3 or 4.
Yes. But I have to first respond to some of the things that Dr. Zato has mentioned. So to Dr. Zato, let me say that maybe you may not see it, but the greatest evidence of the freedom of speech and the fresh air, and even the freedom after speech that we are enjoying in Ghana is you, Dr. Zato.
Oh.
Because Dr. Zato can shout, say a lot of things, and after the show, nobody comes after him. The story of Manasseh and Bibi, they were not even shouting, but they did not have the right environment. So it cannot be hypocrisy on steroids. And Dr. Dazo is a PhD holder. He cannot tell me that when people conduct research, like the Musa Dankwa polls that he referred to, and the opinion is that it may be too early for you to conduct research, that amounts to attacking academic freedom. My goodness, that cannot be the case. And again, the issue of somebody changing headlines. Roland, I expected you to put him to some proof and explain to him that sometimes even editors will get editorial policies wrong. I worked with the Enquirer newspaper when I was in the university. And when you do a story and it is brought to your attention that you did not get these right, sometimes the media houses are so humble, they either put the story
this week,
down.
there was an apology that was given to
they
the sports minister.
They either pull the story down, or they issue an apology, or they
retraction.
do a retraction. That cannot be somebody oppressing. Dr. Zato, maybe you were not around under the MPP government. I don't know whether Dr. Zato was on your show, but some of the richest people in this country, like Sam Jonah, who is not a Cadbury member, said that there was a culture of silence. But why are we even going far? Professor Frimpong Boateng. Professor Frimpong Boateng.
What did he do?
When he authored a report on MPP members who were engaged in galamsey, look at what happened to Professor Frimpong Boateng. In your own party. In your own party. Professor Frimpong Boateng is not an NDC Cadbury member. Then he says, oh, please, let's get serious with discussions. If you want to equalize when the NDC government has done something wrong, Dr. Zato, come stronger. come with very solid, and I have consistently maintained that the present Mahama presidency you are experiencing, for which reason we are committed to major macroeconomic stabilities that your Bawumia could not give the people of Ghana. We also welcome very dissenting opinions. And so when you are trying to counter a murder case, at a time when we are discussing a life lost, you are comparing it to Musa Dankwa's research that people said is too early, and this is the rebuttal. At a time when we are talking and people are in pains about some of the things that happened to them. My friend Caleb Kuda, what was his crime? Because he wanted to film something as a journalist, ended up with the NIB. And when you have to equalize, you are saying that change of headlines. I mean, we should not do this to ourselves. Sometimes I don't know whether you bring him here as a member of the MPP or as an objective person. Because when I'm dealing with him, I don't know whether to deal with him as an objective person or a member of the MPP. But if he's a member of the MPP, no, I think I've seen his pictures where he's a member of the MPP. But if he's a member of the MPP, he must know that his party did a lot of disservice to this nation. He must know that the MPP led Ghana into abyss. We should not even be reminding people of our pains. You came from an election with an electoral defeat of over 1.7 million. At this time, you ought to be doing introspection. You ought to be reflecting on what were the wrongs. At this time, we expect you, on one breath, they are apologizing, on an apology talk. On another breath, they are saying that, you know what, we did everything right, which is which. I can understand that they are going through some emotional, turbulent moments because they want to elect a new flag bearer. But let's not equalize what happened in the past.
The time is running.
No journalist has died. You cannot compare death to dissenting opinion. Yes, under MPP, people were speaking. It didn't mean that everybody was quiet. We were saying that certain things that the government did not feel comfortable with, there was a way they reacted to it. Press freedom, as at 2022, reduced, and Ghana moved from 1st to 10th position. I have the index here. So when we say and when we make some suggestion, we do that in the hope that even we as NDC government, we will learn. So let not people try to reduce the discussion, and you know the evidence, Abronye. Abronye. What? Is it because Abronye is insulting Kennedy Japan for the Bawumia campaign that today Abronye is an idol in society whose freedom has been curtailed? What did Abronye do? And did you check who the complainant is in the Abronye case? Did Dr. Zato check? Government had nothing to do with that. In fact, many government communicators, including myself, we were on record to have criticized the decision of the court. You could not do that. Under your government, everything the court did was sacred. Did you see governments trying to condone that? I mean, those acts which we felt were not in tandem. So Dr. Zato should come back stronger.
Okay.
Now,
TUC.
So the matter of the TUC.
You have only 4 minutes.
I will do justice in 4 minutes. Don't worry.
TUC.
Now to the matter of the TUC. Galamsey is a threat to everybody. And so we in government, we recognize that anybody who wants to join the fight, who wants to add their voice to the fight, must be welcome. And President Mahama is not a beneficiary of galamsey and illegal mining. So the end of illegal mining does not affect this government in any way. In fact, it goes to our credit. We will add it to the list of the things we are able to achieve, just like President Mahama solved Doomsol. And over the period we have been in office, I can assure you that 9 forest areas, which the MPP claimed were red zones, have been repossessed by this government. 9 forest areas. I can assure you that today, the president, through the amendments of LI 2462, in LI 2501, is saying that take away my powers. I cannot give mining leases and permits to people to mine in forests. Even that, there is a promise for more to be done, that the LI itself will be revoked. So when the TUC says that they want to go for a special meeting and declare, or maybe not strike, but take an action, I want to give TUC the assurance that the government of President John Mahama is not the same as the past government. And that this government is committed not in words, but by our actions in fighting the galamsey menace. And they should keep faith with the NDC government. President Mahama is a man of integrity. He will not come and lie to you that he will declare a state of emergency at a time when he will be giving mining licenses to his party people. He would not do that. He has even said that no government appointee should be engaged in in legal mining. So not to talk of illegal. He says that if you want to engage in legal mining, bring my appointment letters and then go and engage in whatever business you want to engage in. But having established that point, Roland, it's also important to remind our viewers that on 9th October, the TUC met then President Nana Addo.
9th October, the last year?
Last year, 2024. Okay. They met Nana Addo. And the Secretary General of the TUC, Mr. Joshua Ansa, indicated that they were going to suspend their strike that they had threatened if the MPP did not start the fight against galamsey. Because remember, the MPP left the fight against galamsey as far back as 2023 because they said we were going into an election year, and in 2020 they had lost many mining areas, which we have even proven to them that is not true. But that was the reason. You had senior members of the party like Ayiwe Friye and Nana Poku coming to say that they would not stop the galamsey, they will not fight them. But when the TUC met President Nana Addo, these were the things Nana Addo promised them. The first one is deployment of additional military personnel, suspension of mining and forest reserve, strengthening prosecution of illegal mining cases, and then call for a national pact on illegal mining. Based on these things, the TUC said they were satisfied that the then government was going to do the right thing, so they will not go on strike. They did not go on strike. So I want to assure my sweet TUC that for all the things that President Akuffo assured them of, we have even enhanced and done it better. Yes, and I'll give you one. At the time the TUC met Nana Addo, there were no military people deployed in the fight against galamsey. It was free for all. Today, as I speak to you, there is a NIMO secretariat that is made up of all security forces that is currently protecting our river bodies and also protecting our forest reserve. So TUC be rest assured that the NDC government is not engaged in a 9-day wonder. Secondly, they said suspension of mining in forest reserve, and then TUC became satisfied. I want to tell them that for us, even the Regulation 3 that gives that would have given the president the powers to actually grant leases for people to mine in forest area, that Regulation 3 does not exist. So the president, as we speak today, cannot give any permits for people to mine. And I think that if the TUC were satisfied, then I think they ought to be satisfied now. They can call for more. Like Oliver Twist, we welcome more and we welcome the pressure. Again, strengthening of prosecution of illegal cases. I can assure the TUC that over 1,400 arrests have been made. Not just of the workers. This government is committed at going after the kingpins like Akunta Mining, Wuntumi and the rest. And as we speak, Akunta Mining and others are before courts. And finally, the last thing the PUC and the TUC agreed to was a call for a national pact on illegal mining. Today, President Mahama has engaged civil society. TUC was invited to that engagement. We hear their concern. There will be consistent engagement. But what I can assure them is that, unlike the past, no political appointee of President Mahama is engaged in galamsey. Nobody at Jubilee is a beneficiary. And we are just not doing things in the media. So we are happy to engage the TUC. We are happy to, not just the TUC, but all other civil society organizations. And I can assure them that together and with their support, we will win the fight against illegal mining.
Dr. Zato.
Thank you very much.
What's your reaction to this?
Thank you.
Because wouldn't you say that TUC is only being consistent?
This morning, I really celebrate Beatrice Anna's, what's the name? Selective amnesia. I really celebrate that. And I like the fact that she's making hypocrisy an art form. It's really good for you. It's good for you. Keep doing that. Look, you just had Law.Kpebu, and you asked him the question that every rational human being is asking him. For almost 8 years, right here behind me on Key Points, every 8 years, he get even personal with Addo. Saying things, some of the things that you cannot print. Never seen anything good about it. For 8 years. Today you are saying here there was no press freedom. That was my test. And I'm happy you called him out on that hypocrisy. How can you sitting here make it an art, make it a job, make it a profession to sit down here and run down a government like that for 8 years and then you say that there was no press freedom? I like that. We were in this country when the National Communications Officer of the NDC led a movement, led people, and he was singing. Kunana do maya radi kunana maya or say or mano or say or mano. We were here. The same person was singing Kuna Bawumia maya radi Bawumia maya. You have a national communication officer calling, invoking God to kill the sitting president, to kill the sitting vice president. What is the reward? He's made a CEO of Gold Board today, and you are saying there was no press freedom. What exposes so me?
We some who do a course watching on also, Mamma so several years, that's an so bad, you know, and the Adumbi Edumania, you besan Bellrem, near some constant Kusukra, GH Politics Avenue.